everyone. Nice having you here today. Let me just check that everything works here. I am today with you to share really a great theme that I'm often getting asked about emotional eating and self-love. A lot of things are related to each other when speaking about emotional eating and love. And because it's the month of love, I thought of sharing really how emotional eating actually connects with self-love. So welcome to today's session with me here, or the video with me here, where I share everything about emotional eating and self-love and how actually you can improve that, right? So how you can change your relationship with food and at the same time express self-love. My name is Andrea Caprio and I'm super happy to have you here. Thank you for joining me today. Now, if you haven't been here with me, I share regularly great information about overcoming emotional eating cravings, any weight issues, and also any kind of related health issues. And if you are interested in overcoming this, join me regularly and subscribe here and sign up for my videos so you can see them in time. Now, let me ask you something. Are you eating sometimes because you're feeling maybe lonely or bored or sad? And be honest, let me know really, and maybe if you want to share that in the comments, I would love to know that, because that is very often one of the many reasons that people tend to eat emotionally. Many people are trying to fill a void in their lives with food. And of course, that is often to do with love, right? When we feel not loved, or when we have maybe some issues around love, or when we don't love ourselves, right? When we have a very low self-worth or self-esteem and struggle to show love to ourselves and maybe to others, that is often where we fill that void with food. And if that's you, then you are definitely today in for a treat. So let me maybe start with a little bit just sharing with you why, what causes emotional eating, right? So emotional eating is really something when people are eating without being hungry, right? So emotional eating is a hunger that we're trying to fill that's emotional or spiritual, but not a physical hunger. So to find out how that is, you can definitely, observe yourself. And a very good idea is actually to take, some notes or a journal or something like that each time you're eating. And I'm speaking about eating outside of your normal eating time. So you normally have your meals, like your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner. You might have one or two snacks, one snack in the morning, one in the afternoon, in between. But if you find yourself eating in between all this or additionally to this, you want to ask yourself, am I really hungry, right? Am I really hungry for food? And usually you will be able, when you journal around that, you will be able to find out if your stomach is really growling, right? You are definitely hungry and you should be eating. And actually it should not be like this, because you should eat regularly. But if you find yourself to eat and, for example, each time your boss calls and you get stressed, or when you come home and maybe after a long day you're tired and you come home and you feel lonely, you eat. All these kind of eatings gives us a clue that there is some emotional eating. So if you are doubting about it, take some time and write about this in a journal, how you're feeling and how that comes all together. So that is definitely a good tip. I'm trying to see if I can have my comments here, and I don't see them here, unfortunately. I have absolutely no idea why, but never mind that. I will share later in the comments also a link to a blog post that I've written, so you are able to log in to that as well. Great. So now we know what causes the emotional eating. let's maybe talk a little bit about what often people eat when they eat emotionally, right? So some people are eating chocolate or carbohydrates like bread or pasta or pizza, fried foods, salty snacks, whatever there are, anything that's not planned. And usually there are more things that are a little bit on the unhealthier side, are foods that we are using during emotional eating. And when you have that, then of course you know that these are not healthy, right? And when you continue eating them, they can lead to some health issues like weight gain, or maybe that you are having health issues or whatever it is. So you definitely want to pay attention a little bit to not overeat on those emotional foods that you are eating. And a very good idea, by the way, when you find yourself eating emotionally or stress eating, is to ask yourself, what am I really hungry for? So I'm asking you, what are you really hungry for, right? Is it maybe to have a partner in your life? Maybe it's getting more recognition, having a purpose in your life, whatever it is, right? So find out what that is and see if you can rather fill that emotional hunger with something that helps instead of eating, right? Because as much as the eating might give you this false sense of feeling better for a very short moment, in the long run it doesn't make you feel better. On the contrary, you probably will practice guilt and shame, or you have health issues, or you go in a downward spiral. So depending on this, you have developed then more negative talk, self-talk, or a poor body image, or whatever it is, right? So you want really to look for for ways of overcoming this emotional eating and this low feeling that you might be having, this missing purpose or whatever. So first of all, what I always recommend is to find out what's the root cause, right? So we want to find out, is it maybe the stress you're having in your life, or maybe you're sad, or maybe you had some trauma, or you're bored, or whatever it is. But it might also be a physical root cause, right? It might simply be that maybe your hormones are not balanced, or that you have some digestive issues or so. So whatever it is, you want to find the root cause, and then of course you want to fix that, right? So maybe you have some imbalances in your life. Sleep could be one thing. Maybe you're not drinking enough water. Maybe you have hormone changes, or you're depressed, or whatever it is. You want definitely look at those imbalances and fix them, right? And then very important as well is not to give in to impulses. So really a great way is to make a plan for that. So if you plan in advance what you're eating and you have it ready, you're more likely to eat those healthy foods. And also if you plan on having something else to do than eating is also great. So you could put a plan together. Let's say you observe yourself that you eat emotionally each time you get home and you sit in front of the TV. So maybe you don't want to go and watch TV, right? Maybe instead you could go for a walk, or you could call a friend or meet up with a friend, or maybe you can take up a hobby and, I don't know, sing, play an instrument, or whatever it is you want to be doing. So look for really ways of how you can incorporate in your life some things that help you overcome. Just sometimes by calling a friend, or having maybe a bath or something like this, practicing some self-care is something that fills that void, so you don't need food. And remember, when you do that, start small, right? If you have been eating your whole life, not your whole life, but for a long time, if you've been eating a bag of chips every evening to fill that void, and you take away the chips immediately, and you go on a completely healthy run and go exercising. If you haven't done this, maybe that's a bit too much, and maybe you just can start with something small. So remember, don't overdo it, just start. Creating a meal plan can be helpful, so creating your snacks and everything in advance, and maybe taking the weekend to cook and prepare everything so you have things ready and you don't need to take a fast food or take away, because you have something ready that's actually healthy. And also be mindful when eating, right? So that's really something that I recommend, just by being mindful and eating mindfully, is that you become more in tune with your hunger cues and with how food feels and how food makes you feel. And that can be also a very helpful way of overcoming emotional eating and practicing self-love. Remember one thing, and maybe I should have mentioned that earlier, is when you're not loving yourself and prioritizing yourself and practicing self-care, often you go to emotional eating, right? And you eat unhealthy. Now, when you eat unhealthy, you're actually more punishing yourself than loving yourself, than rewarding yourself, nourishing yourself, right? So if you want to show love to yourself, you want to give it the best you can, nourish your body with the best food, do good things, do self-care, show that in a way. Imagine yourself being with a friend or with a partner or with a family member or whatever it is. You always want to do the best for them. You want to prepare the best food for them. You want to spend quality time with them. You want to do fun things with them, etc., etc. So you want to do the same thing with you. And it starts by nourishing your body with the best food that you can afford. So really think from that way, and that will be helpful for you to eat more mindfully and overcome emotional eating and really show how much you love yourself and take care of yourself. So now I would love to know, what is your first step to practice more self-care, to show self-love so you can overcome emotional eating? Take some time and share that in the comment. Of course, if you have any questions as well, let me know in the comments. And a quick one as well, there is a link in the comments that I will share that gives you the blog post where I share more information about how to change your relationship with food, overcome emotional eating, and practice more self-love. And also, I just want to share one thing with you. If you are in Miami or near in Miami and you would like to meet with me, I will be in Miami in March, end of March, and I would love to meet you. So if interested, please contact me, and there's also the link in the comments or in the description that you find to actually find out a little bit more about what I have to offer, because while I'm in Miami, I'm offering a really great retreat and workshop, and also some opportunity to meet with me one-on-one. So check it out. Everything is either in the description or in the comments. And until then, until next time, I invite you to really look in how you can change your relationship with food and with yourself. My name is Andrea Caprio, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.